and the Phoenix Foundation team. I'm really happy to have this space with you and be able to share a bit of my journey in send this positive message across the people all around the world through the different situations that they're going through. So my name is Daniela Zapata. I'm originally from Colombia, but I'm currently based in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. I started my career very young, let's say, and let's say that leadership was always at the core of what I did since my university. I had the lucky chance to join the world largest leadership run organization called AIESEC. I did it back in my university. At that time, I had the chance to study international relations and at the same time belong to AIESEC and grow my leadership skills within the organization. That's how I actually managed to get the chance to meet Clive and go together through a couple of projects. So yeah, the whole topic of education and unlocking human potential was always very close to my heart since university, because of how my family raised me and a bit about my parents that I can share later on with you. And in that journey, while I started going through different roles, different opportunities, I end up right now working for Mindvalley, which happens to be the world largest, let's say, personal growth company or personal transformation company in the world. We are the leading company in the field of personal growth and personal transformation. And right now, what I do with Mindvalley is I personally lead the whole expansion of Mindvalley to the corporations. So basically, bringing consciousness to the workplace. And also, I have the wonderful opportunity and responsibility to revolutionize youth education by also bringing all of our content to schools and universities. So I'll say that definitely across my whole life, I've been very lucky to have different challenges that took me to have different and very, very interesting achievements. But I'll say definitely, I think the biggest achievement so far is being at the role where I am at now. Probably I was one of the fastest persons to grow in the leadership career at Mindvalley, which happens to be a global company. I've been there already for a year and a half, and I'm already part of the leadership team and leading to very exciting projects for the company. And I think it happens to be that I'm also the youngest person doing it. I'm just 26. People think I'm older, but I'm just 26, and because of my experience, I've been lucky to be in a role that allows me to work on projects that I'm personally very passionate, but also are projects that I know that for sure are making an impact to the world. Right now, we're working on revolutionizing the future of work. That is a topic that is very, very trendy right now. How can we make workplaces, that's something that you guys talk about, more resilient, more conscious? How can we make workplaces a place that make humans happier, excited, better, healthier, fitter, instead of dragging people's energy down? And just because we understand that employees are no longer after just a paycheck. People want to find purpose, meaning, and that's what we try to bring to the workplaces. And when it comes to educations, we are after the mission of making or allowing young people to become conscious on an earlier stage, for them to not have to wait until their 30s, 40s to realize a couple of things, but to do it from a very early age. So I think that has been one of my biggest achievements, being in this role, being able to work for such a powerful mission, to represent such a brand as Mindvalley. Coming from this little town in Colombia called Barranquilla, with like a very small population, to just end up in Southeast Asia, working for this wonderful company, leading a wonderful team of internationals, and with such a strong mission. I think that's definitely what I will highlight as one of the most exciting things that I'm doing right now. Probably one of the best decisions I ever made in my life was to join AIESEC. So this is not a promo to join AIESEC, but if you have the chance to join any other student community, it's something that every time I mentor someone younger, I just tell them, try to do something besides your regular studies, right? Like, at the end of the day, everybody will graduate from a career, let's say in average, everybody will have go through the same studies, everybody will speak the same languages. What is going to make you different from other young people by the time you graduate, it's actually having some experience on the side that and develop some skills that are transferable to any workplace you have, right? So in my case, I chose AIESEC, but there are so many options out there for any student that is watching this and it's considering, okay, where to put my energy and focus. AIESEC happens to be the largest youth run organization. And what AIESEC does is they have a wonderful mission of working towards peace and fulfillment of the human potential. The organization was born after the Second World War. So initially it was a lot about bringing this, this kind of sense of unity between nations. That AIESEC happens to be the world largest youth run organization, and the focus is on achieving peace and fulfillment of humankind potential. The way they do it is by mainly focusing on helping young people to develop leadership skills that whenever they graduate or whenever they leave the organization, they can use these skills at the service of any challenge that is out there in the world. AIESEC has a huge focus right now to work towards the goals for 2030 that United Nations has set up, the Sustainable Development Goals. So there's a variety of challenges that we have in the world. You know, in some cases, in some countries, it could be related to education. In some countries, could be more related to gender equality. In some countries, more about taking care of the environment. So what AIESEC tried to do is to take you through a leadership journey to equip you with the skills, with the values, and with the competencies that you need. So whenever you graduate or whenever you finish your experience with AIESEC, you can enter the workforce or become an entrepreneur or set up your own foundation, whatever you prefer, and just be equipped with the skills and with the right mindset to succeed at it. So it's just a wonderful experience. Most of the things that we do at AIESEC back then was international exchanges. To facilitate these exchanges in a different culture where people will get to practice leadership on the ground while they're doing an impact in another country, either in a company or in a startup or in a community with a social project. So that's a bit of what AIESEC is about, and that's a bit on the model they have to develop leadership and impact on the ground. So yeah. I think leadership is just probably one of the experiences that will allow you to grow the most. I think I just really wish everybody across the world could have a leadership experience at least once in their life, because your team becomes a mirror of you. You know, your team becomes a source of inspiration for you to be better and for them to be better. So a couple of things that come to my mind to summarize some tips that I believe that if anyone can practice can lead them to a successful leadership experience is first of all building trust and understanding that it's always about the people. Sometimes leaders can get very confused between should I go after the results that I'm expected to deliver or should I look after the people? And sometimes it seems like it's a hard equation to assess on where to put your focus on energy. But my answer is always focus on the people, because the people will take you to your results or to a place where you want to head, right? So I think my biggest practice was always invest in time into opening safe spaces for the team, spaces where everybody is able to feel included by being their authentic selves, where everybody's invited to come with their authenticity and with their own gifts, and where they feel they can trust you as a leader, and creating a space where they can feel they can trust among each other, you know, like the trust exists. That I think that's the most important foundation for leadership or to manage team. The second is definitely having a very clear and compelling and exciting vision to go after. I believe that a team is only a team once there's a clear vision. Because if you don't have that vision and if people are not connected to that vision, you're just a group of people trying to get something done, right? So a team becomes a team once there's a vivid vision, exciting, that makes them wake up from bed, encouraged and empowered to work towards something. And the last one will be, it's very important to create accountability spaces. Not to judge anyone, but to encourage people so they are able to not only see their potential, but live up to their potential. Accountability is so important in teams because, you know, each one of us hold some bigness and some gifts. And if we create spaces of accountability where everybody's encouraged to be their best, not from a place of judgment, but from a place of we believe in your potential, is really, really important. I think it's just very three simple things or practices can help team leaders to create spaces where everybody is willing to get stuff done, with the disclaimer that you should never stop having fun on the way. I mean, we just come to this world to do something positive, and hopefully in the meantime, we're able to enjoy and get connected to wonderful people and work for a good mission. So ideally, we should always keep it exciting. We should always keep it with a focus of growth, of development. Not only just get your stuff done, but creating these spaces where people can participate and can feel that there's something to aim for. That's the example that I saw in my mom. My mom is a natural leader. You know, she was never after the title, but she was always recognized as a leader because of her actions, because of the way she makes people feel, because of the leadership and initiative she takes in projects. Plus, she's a social worker. So I always grew up seeing her being, you know, full of ownership, very driven, very empathetic, being very loved by her colleagues and teammates, and working for a better purpose to make the world better. So I always saw this example on her. I will definitely say that she's my biggest mentor. So since a little age, I was always looking up to her, and I just wanted to be like her. It's really nice because now she told me, I think the students surpassed the master. I'm so proud of you. So that just really fills my soul. So since that age, I kind of understood that that's a path that I wanted to take. And a lot on the way she raised me just gave me a certain skills that once I graduate and enter the workforce allowed me to realize that I could hold leadership roles, and I was able to empower people to achieve a common vision. And also my experience in AIESEC just, I think, really prepped me for that. I was 7 years in AIESEC, had the opportunity to lead around 20 teams. I left AIESEC probably when I was 22. So by the age of 22, I already have the experience of managing so many teams in different areas, from conferences to partnerships departments to operations. So I kind of had the experience on the ground even before graduating on what does it mean to lead people from different nationalities, lead people with different personalities, lead people that think different than you, with a different religion, with a different political view. You know, it helped me to understand the diversity and the responsibility that brings to lead people. But I would say that definitely my mom and my early experience at university and volunteering prepped me for that. So yeah. I can get very existential with that because honestly, I think probably 3 months ago I would have given you a very different answer. But it's very funny because this past weekend, a very weird idea came to me while I was meditating, which was, what is even failure? You know, and my realization came because I feel that we spend most of the time being really afraid to launch an idea, go after a job, create something, because we are afraid of failing, that we stop doing it. We allow that to terrify us and not take action. But at the end of the day, what I realize is I honestly feel that failure is an illusion. Failure is an illusion because who tells you if you fail or not? It's just yourself. It's just your mind telling you. We tend to believe that failure is, I didn't achieve what I wanted. But how can you know that what you wanted is exactly what you needed, or what is best for you, or what you are meant to be? Maybe you were settling for less and that's why you fail at it. But you didn't really fail. It's just that things didn't happen as you wanted. So I believe there's a lot of deep questioning involved in that question, but I'm trying to even practice this in myself since this week. I've been trying to defy the idea of failure, because failure is in my mind, such as success. If I'm successful, it's because in my mind I achieved something that I wanted, according to my own standards. And if I fail, it's because I didn't achieve something that I wanted under my own standards. But who sets those standards? You. So you can shift them in any time. You can kind of bend reality and choose your own definition of success or failure in your mind, instead of worry about them just redefine it on the way. launch and learn, and you tweak your definitions internally? I think it's a very good question, and I think we should constantly should be asking for ourselves, what is it for us, to get some alignment on that. I was maybe at the beginning, I was not very aware of this, but as I grew up, I noticed. So most of the time, or for most of my career, I've been in the environments of partnerships or sales, right? This means that it's a very male dominated type of field, right? Even if you say the word in English, it's called a salesman. Yeah. Where's the inclusion on that? Where's the saleswoman, right? So let's say that since it's a very early age, I started working on sales and partnerships just to create collaborations between organization to organization. This happens to be a very male-dominated field, as I told you, is that you will get a bit disencouraged, sadly, by men, honestly, where they will question a lot. You're not tough enough, you're not aggressive enough. You're not at the level where you need to be. You need to speak like this, like there's so many expectations or ideas on what a salesperson should be and should not be. And I think the biggest challenge that I face in a very male dominated environment is that as a woman, you will be unheard, that as a woman, they will interrupt you when you're sharing an idea because it's not valid, because you just happen to be a woman and very young. So that's one of the biggest challenges that I faced, honestly. A lot of these comments or a lot of this feedback that you need to be different to succeed at this. You're too soft, you're too kind, you're too nice, this is not gonna work, you need to be X, Y, and Z, and you're not that. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges that I honestly faced. And the way I see it is, I think it happens to all of us, sadly. Most of us have been discriminated or treated differently just because, in my case, it happens to be, because I was young and I was a woman. So according to the expectations of the people around me, there were some things that were not gonna work. That was the biggest challenge that I honestly faced. Because I didn't choose to be a woman or young. I'm just trying to do my job, right? But it can get quite challenging. For me, there were two main things. The first one was about getting really clear at my strengths. Something that I practice a lot because of my mom is a lot of self-awareness. So what I try to tap into is, okay, I'm not how they say I should be, but I'm really good at building relationships. I'm really good at making someone feel heard. I'm really good about caring about the customers, caring about the people. So I start focusing on, instead of being aggressive and rude and like this, how they told me that I should be, to build more relationship with my clients, to connect better with the people around me, to care, to kind of add, to try to play with my genius zone, let's say. If I would have tried to change myself or change how I am, I think that would have been a perfect formula for failure. Instead of that, what I did is that I tried to identify, okay, what am I really good above the average? And I realized that in my case, it was, okay, relationship building, people management, connecting with people, communicating. So I'm going to focus on that. Doesn't matter if it's the formula that they say that I should follow or not, but I just focus on doing what I'm really good at. So that's my advice, right? Like anytime that you're in a situation where you're being challenged or where you're being questioned, it's about trying to understand, what am I good at? I don't need to be great at everything, but there gotta be something that I'm really good at. So let's focus on that. And that took me really, really forward, because my clients start recognizing, oh no, we want to talk to Daniela, or no, we want to work with her, or sending positive feedback. Or I will have partners from many years that up until now, they're connected with me in a personal note, on a working note, because of the relationship we create. Because at the end, it's about building that trust and helping that person and caring about them being successful, because if they are successful, you are. So that was the first thing that I did to battle with that. And the second thing was, honestly, I tried to stop focusing on I need to prove myself. Because sometimes the mindset is like, I need to prove myself. I need to prove everybody that I can do it. Instead of that, what I said? I was like, I'm just gonna do the best that I can. So I focus on my actions speaking louder than the words. It was about just me. I want to help people. I want to do my best. I just focus silently on doing that, not making a huge scandal, not just like,
going crazy about that and complaining. I just said like, okay, you know what, I'm going to do what I have to do. And I believe that when you put discipline and passion towards something, you're unstoppable, right? So results just come as a byproduct if you stop obsessing with, I need to prove someone. If you operate more from a mentality of, I want to help people, I want to do my best, I want to unleash my gifts and what I do good, life just rewards you. And I think those two things really help me to keep it through in those tough times. I think on my personal life, probably the biggest challenge that I had to face was during my teenage years, because my dad bankrupted his own company, and that was such a tough time for the family, especially for him, right? Especially in cultures like Latin America, the man tends to be the provider of the house, right? So my dad kind of had this responsibility in the family, and probably when I was around 10 years old, his company bankrupt. And despite, of course, the financial challenges that brought to the family, it was more the emotional challenges that it brought for him, because besides the financial issue, he fell into depression. And I was so young, and back then I didn't really understand what was going on. I just suddenly saw my dad shifting. He was different. He was not the same funny person. He was a bit more serious. He didn't talk much. He didn't want to socialize, and I didn't understand what was going on until one day my mom sat down with me and she told me, your dad has been just diagnosed with depression. And I was super shocked because I couldn't understand how someone one day can be happy and the next day is depressed. um, Up until today now, I do have way much more understanding, but I think it was a really tough time, because back then I didn't have the level of understanding that I do now. I didn't know how could I contribute to make the situation better. Like, I was so young that I was not working back then, so it's not like I can help financially. I didn't have the tools to help him to get better on his mental health. But we were very lucky that my mom kind of became the backbone of the house. And she's one of my biggest inspirations because she went so deep, like she took my father to, from psychologists to therapies. Now you're gonna try yoga, now you're gonna try meditation, now you're gonna do this. Like she tried everything. She took him everywhere, and she was very compassionately next to him for around 2 years that it took him to recover and to kind of be again the man that I used to remember. um and yeah, it was a tough process, but I'm so grateful that my mom was there. And I have so much respect for moms. If any mom is watching this, you have my respect, because they just have to juggle with life, with their jobs, and on top of that, really holding the families together. So yeah, that was the main challenge that I personally have faced until now. So honestly, I think with the whole experience that I just tell you about my dad, I realized the importance is like, all of us, we are educated on, how to do better accounting, how to you study maths, you study social science, you study, I don't know, geometry, whatever. Like we are equipped our whole life with this type of learning, from school to university to masters to whatever. But nobody formally really teaches you how to handle life, right? It's like nobody trained my dad on how to heal his mental health challenge. Like, he was not born like that. Something happened in his life and he ended up affected by it. So with this experience really closely in my face and in my family, I really decided that I wanted to focus on personal growth, because in personal growth you get so many tools that allow you to cope with this or any challenge in your life, right? So I think from there, that's one of the core reasons why I end up working with Mindvalley, because I feel like we're able to provide this type of education to people. You don't necessarily need to be depressed to look after it, right? Like, some people, they just want to get better proactively, not because something bad is happening, but because you feel like there's more to do, more beliefs that you can install in your mind. You can be better at different areas of your life. So heading to a future, I want to make this type of learnings available not only for people that can afford it. I want to make it available for people that cannot afford it. So moving forward, I'm very excited to share with you. I'm going to be opening my NGO in Colombia. Things have been developing very, very nice in the past week. So of course, with my mom, she's my biggest partner in crime with this. My dad is also helping us. So initially we're starting this project, the three of us. I have a couple of friends and teammates at Mindvalley that are also helping me to set up everything. But we're going to be opening our foundation in Colombia. And we want to start 2021 when things are a bit more clear and kids can go to school. We're going to start a program with 50 kids in Colombia. And these kids, we will get them access to formal education in a school. So we're going to be sponsoring their formal education. The name of the foundation is Beyond Education. So what we're going to be doing is, besides the regular education, we want to go a bit further. So we want to equip them with these soft skills and with these life skills. They will have the chance we're looking for kids between 7 to 10 years old. From 7 to 10 years old, they will have the chance to start thinking about how they envision their lives. So we're going to start bringing these practices of self-awareness, of life visioning, of meditation, of thinking of operating from a place of abundance and not scarcity, because they are born in such vulnerable communities that they tend to think that their future is settled, that they will never be more than that. And we want to let them know that there's something beyond that, that your success or your life is not defined by the conditions under you were born or raised, but that you can craft your life. And we want to give them the tools to shift the mindset so they are aware that they can go beyond that situation. So that's why it's called Beyond Education. I'm really excited about that because I believe that we are lucky to have access to this type of tools. But if nobody provides this type of tool to this population, government won't do it, their schools won't do it, their parents won't do it. So someone has to bridge that gap, let's say. So that's what is exciting me about the future, and that's what keeps me really, really awake these days. So yeah, that's a bit of. We have always been aligned in the education part, in the type of impact we want to do. So I'm really happy to be able to participate and collaborate with Phoenix Foundation, because I just believe so much in what you guys do, and I think it's so needed right now that I'm always super happy to get involved and see how else can we help, right?
Yeah.
So I've been redefining a lot the concept of what I believe resilience is, because I think for me initially it was like, it's the capacity to hold yourself together when tough situations or challenges come. But I think it goes beyond that. For me, true resilience happens when you understand that challenges are not there happening to you, but for you, For me, resilience has a component of, let's say, awareness that whatever is happening is not because you should allow that thing to define you, or because bad things are happening to you, but because through challenging situations and through obstacles, it's that we grow best. So it's not about being hit and then you stand up. For me, it's about understanding, okay, if you're hit, you're gonna bounce like bolder, higher, better. It's about stop seeing failure or challenges as something evil happening to you from a victimhood place, but understanding that whatever is happening is setting you up for success, for your next version of yourself, for you to unfold into who you are meant to be in this world, and for you not to settle with smallness, but own your bigness and stand up from that. I am not what happened to me. I am who I choose to become. So yeah, it's a lot from living that victimhood place to own that you always have a choice, and that it depends, and it's up to you how you want to make that choice, and how do you want whatever is happening to set you up for the next level of yourself.